All right, so there is simply no doubt how much I love the GAC Emkoo. I mean, why not? It's got this funky postmodern look. It's fairly fuel efficient, very practical, and yes, kind of fast on the road. But if there's one dig I have against it, it's that there seems to be missing a hybrid option in their lineup. But that changes today. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing the 2025 GAC Emkoo Hybrid. Now on the outside, you simply won't find anything different from the GAC Emkoo, the normal GAC Emkoo, because apart from this blue halo around the GAC badge right here, you still have this kind of funky looking integrated grille right here, and where you've got those chrome strips on the inside, not on the outside, right there in the in between those chrome strips. You also have these full LED DRLs, full LED headlamps. You got the camera up top right there that works with the advanced driver assist systems, and another camera right here for the 360-degree camera. If you notice, there seems to be a radar pad at the bottom part of the grille right here, the lower bumper. Again, that works in conjunction with that camera for the 360-degree system. You got this huge hood right here, and it looks amazing in this snow white colorway. Overall, the GAC Emkoo exhibits this particular, like I said, postmodern styling that gives you this distinct look that you're not going to mistake it for anything on the road. And it looks great as well in this two-tone color scheme. Good job, GAC. Now, if you're trying to look for any semblance of difference between this and the normal Emkoo, you can find it right here in the key fob. It has this black chrome color scheme to it, which looks really sleek, unlike that white one in the regular Emkoo. And it's a smart key too, so if you approach your car like this, you're going to open up these flush doors right here on the side, giving it this electric car look, which now it kind of gives you more credence to that call. But just approach your car, you don't have to put your key outside, and it'll open up for you, no problems. But more on that later on. You got these 19-inch alloy wheels. They kind of look broken in the middle right here because of how it's designed. But you know, in my previous review, how much I really, it's not really my cup of tea, to be honest, but it kind of grows on me as it moves along. And again, those 19-inch alloy wheels look small in comparison with the GAC Emkoo because of how large it is. You can actually use our Zigwheels Philippines comparison tool to check this out. I actually love using that, and from what I've seen, if I can give you an idea of how large this is one of the largest models in its segment. Now, one thing I love about the GAC Emkoo is how cohesive these lines are. If you notice, these lines all around the side of the body panels right here, they actually point towards something. They kind of look like a blade looking design right here. If you can see the side profile right there on the edge, the 3/4 quarter panel, it kind of rakes right there sharply right to the back, and then it rakes slowly right here in the bottom as well, connecting itself to this nice character line. It's kind of clean and at the same time funky as well. So it's definitely going to be quite a sight if you first see the GAC Emkoo in the metal. But hey, this is something that I really appreciate, because cars these days are starting to meld with each other, and you definitely would be confused of what model is running on the road right now, but not with a GAC Emkoo. And hey, you've got a roof rail on top as well, giving it more cred to its SUV crossover appeal. Now, this is my favorite part of the GAC Emkoo, the derriere, and because I want to flaunt it that much, I want to feature the remote start feature of the GAC Emkoo as well. So all you gotta do is make sure that it's locked and hold on to this circle arrow key thing on the key fob, and there you go, it's turned on. And we can finally see those rear DRLs that I keep talking about. That's right, the GAC Emkoo's got rear DRLs. It's kind of a hallmark for GAC vehicles. We've seen this in the M Zoom as well, and I absolutely love them. I'm the kind of guy who wants to turn on my park lights when we're driving, just want to flaunt and kind of want to be proud of my tail lamps and my fog lamps, but JC really knows me. Anyway, you've got this flat looking rear right here, and you got a power tailgate. Sure, we'll talk about that later on. You got this strikingly contrast rear a spoiler up top, as well as the third brake lamp right here. Unfortunately, you don't have any rear wipers, which is unfortunate because with how raked the rear windshield is, you can definitely get kind of dingy and dirty and you want to wipe it off. And for you to do that, you'll have to step outside and do it yourself. Not with the GAC Emkoo here though, no rear wipers. On each end of the lower bumper, you'd see some sort of these holes right here at each end that kind of looks like exhaust ports, but they're definitely not. They're just there for design design features, but that's okay. It's definitely, I'm giving it a pass because of how nice it melds itself with the entire aesthetic of the rear. Plus you got these reflectors on each end, as well as the rear fog lamp and this interesting looking fang looking rear diffuser at the bottom. Again, it seems like too much, seems like a lot, but to be honest, if you look at it in person, it's finally going to make a lot of sense. You also have this camera right here that works with the 360-degree camera system, and you've got a power tailgate. So the power tailgate activates itself right there. It opens up quite slowly, opening up this huge tailgate right here, giving you access to all this space inside. And it's one more thing that I love about the GAC Emkoo is that you've got a lot of space to work with, and the loading floor is pretty low. So if you got some heavier items, it's going to be easier to put it in right there, no problem. So yes, you got a very flat floor right here, and if you need even more space, you can fold those rear seats down. They fold in a 60-40 split configuration, and they fold fairly flat. All right, so inside the GAC Emkoo Hybrid, GAC's finally listened to my request because the interior is now blacked out. You've got a blacked out dashboard here, side door cards, as well as the seats are definitely all in black. I mean, well, the regular GAC Emkoo had this tan or sometimes blue upholstery, which is simply not my taste. But here, all black, you're never gonna go back. All right, so one thing that you do appreciate here, of course, is still the large touchscreen infotainment system with, unfortunately, only Apple CarPlay and this third-party app called CarBitLink for Android, which is unfortunate because I am now Team Android, and I wish it had at least some sort of wired capability for me to link my phone to it. But it seems like I'm gonna have to go back to Apple, I guess, just for me to check this out. The Apple CarPlay, but again, that's totally unfortunate. You don't get any physical buttons right here on the dashboard to control your volume or the speed of your fan. Instead, you get these capacitive sliders on each side to do so. Plus, again, this scroll design at the bottom will help you with actually lowering the temperature, increasing it, and just like that. You also have this huge multi-information display right here, giving you all the information that you need for your drive. It is available for different themes here. You have this sporty theme, you got this circular theme going on, and all the like right there. So that's nice. So it's a multi-information display which is flanked by the fuel gauge and the battery gauge. So you got H and L. If you see that gauge right up here, and you think that it's a temperature gauge because it's H and L, don't worry about it, right? That's not the temperature gauge. You're not overheating. That's just the current state of the charge of the battery. So again, I was actually concerned about that at first, thinking that I'm already overheating, but no, I see this battery icon right there. I was placated, so no worries. Again, that was kind of worrisome. Anyway, so all the information right here, you got your ADAS, your advanced driver assist system settings right there. You got your energy flow monitor, which is nice, fuel consumption history, drive history, and vehicle status. So all the information, no problems. So one thing about this screen though is that it's actually very, very responsive and has a good refresh rate. That's because it has a Snapdragon chip in it. So it definitely has a dedicated SoC or system on chip right here. It's not just your regular two-DIN system right here. This is definitely pretty much like a computer in your car, which is nice. So in the settings here, you can select your drive modes. There are 3 different drive modes: economy, which it's suitable for congested roads; comfort for general road driving; and sport, which it's suitable for track driving. That's optimistic. I definitely won't be taking this to the track, but that's what it says right there. but we'll just keep it on economy so that we can maximize fuel savings, because that's what a hybrid is for anyway. We've got this huge panoramic sunroof. This doesn't open, by the way, which is actually my preference. If you got one of those opening sunroofs, it's going to be something else to maintain, but right here, just have a glass roof, which is nice. And you got these ambient lighting systems here as well. You can choose from different colors right here, as well as activate its lighting, activate its brightness. You can even have a follow driving mode, which means it's going to follow whatever driving mode you're in. Green for eco, red for sport, and blue for normal. So there we go. All right, so again, you got all the things you need right here, as well as your driver assist systems. You got your air conditioning, and it does have cooled seats. Hallelujah. That's right. I believe all cars should have ventilated seats, especially for our tropical country. Something you need. One thing about it though is that it gets pretty noisy. The fan moves up really loud, so we're gonna have to turn that off, or at least put it to 1 on. I can still hear it, so we're gonna have to turn that off right now so that you can hear my voice as I say things about the car. Okay, so yep, this is a pretty nice touchscreen infotainment system. You won't be feeling any lags to it, no problems. You got this floating center console right here, where you got your hazard lights, your start-stop button, and your electronic shifter. It's nice. You got this bejeweled shifter again. Now, a lot of folks have been, a lot of folks always think that this is a wireless charger, but as you've seen in our review of the GAC Emkoo, that is just a place for you to put your phone, hence the phone logo right there. You got a cup holder right here, another cup holder right here in the receptacle for you to put your stuff in. A nice, huge padded center armrest, and it's fairly deep. You can put a lot of stuff in it, so no problems. You can even put my compact right here. Anyway, right there below, you got another shelf where you got all your USB-C ports, USB-A and USB-C. The USB-Cs are only dedicated for charging, so if you want to connect your iPhone to it, you have to use a USB-A port, so you're going to have to try to see if you can find any cables with a lightning cable and a USB-A still being sold by Apple. And you got a 12-volt power socket there. So one thing I love about this though is that you can actually hide all your cables underneath and sometimes put your small bag underneath there as well. No problems. The steering wheel is nicely covered in this nice leather material. You got perforated leather on the sides and smooth leather on top and the bottom. It's D-shaped, so you got that sporty appeal going on. No problems. On the left side of your steering wheel, you do have your cruise control buttons as well as your multi-information display control buttons, and on the right you have your media control buttons, which is nice. Now again, going back to the quality of the interior, I mean, look at this door cards. The top of the door cards, soft touch material. Top of the dashboard looks like it has this rubber injected molding on the dashboard as well, so it's soft touch, and you got this leather material. I'm trying to find a way for me to check out if there are any hard touch plastics. Yep, there we go. The A pillar is hard touch plastic, but everything else is soft touch. Good job, GAC, for giving us at least a little taste of what luxury feels like, I guess. Now, you got this piano black in center console though, but the piano black is covered in this print, this geometric patterns in the print, so it doesn't take on fingerprints that easy because they've already pre-installed the fingerprints right there, so no problems. All right. Now, the fact that the GAC Emkoo has one of the, if not the, well, yeah, one of the longest wheelbases in its segment, putting a car's twice its price to shame, you do have a lot of leg room right here. So apart from the fact that you've got a lot of space in the back for all your stuff and your luggage, you've got a lot of space for your feet and your legs. Plus, it has a flat floor, not just a fairly flat floor, a totally and completely flat floor right here, so it's very comfortable, gotta say. Now the seats are firm. They resemble the front seats a lot, but I wish the rear seats were softer, and I wish it had a center armrest. Now again, GAC could have had included a center armrest in the GAC Emkoo Hybrid so that it can differentiate itself to the normal Emkoo. Fortunately, they just went ahead and copy pasted everything and painted it black, called it a day. Not that that's a bad thing. I actually like how the GAC Emkoo looks, especially in the inside as well as in the outside, but I wish they added a few things here and there to justify the additional price. And one thing that you'd notice on the outside, there seems to be a window right here on the quarter panel, but once you're inside, you notice that there's no windows here inside. So it's just there for design, but here it's totally blanked out. So yeah, you got these huge map pockets right here, a solitary USB-A port in the back, so you're going to have to fight with your seatmate right here and know who gets that USB-A port, because if you split that, you're definitely not going to get enough juice out to charge your device. But you do have two aircon vents in the back, so got that going on. Now I'm 5'10.5" with a chunky frame, and again, this is definitely good. You've got a lot of headroom to work with, despite the fact that you've got this glass roof on top. And width-wise, yes, three of myself, a full 3 Roy Robises can fit right here in the back. No problems. This is really good. I mean, at this price point, I can't believe that it's actually putting to shame a lot of the more established compact crossover SUVs. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the GAC Emkoo Hybrid. So the biggest difference is under the hood. So under the hood of this hybrid variant of GAC Emkoo, you've got a 2-liter Atkinson cycle engine mated to a small electric motor. So you got a hybrid engine under the hood. I'm not going to explain how 1 + 1 does not equate to 2 in this case, but the total power and torque that this makes is definitely staggering. Around 235 horses and 300 Nm of torque. Now, as you know, with hybrid vehicles, you really don't rely much on paper to actually get exactly how you feel and how you get to those numbers, because electrified and electric vehicles accelerate so differently from its ICE models, from the ICE cars that they were comparing it with. So it feels a lot faster, a lot more nimble, despite the fact that you only have 300 Nm of torque. It does have a lot more horsepower though, it's down on torque, but trust me, you have to feel it. I know a couple of guys who says they haven't tried electric vehicles yet, and they don't know, and they have no idea how it feels. But let's just give you an idea how much it feels. So we're gonna go to sport mode so that we can use all its power. There we go. Oh, there you go, I feel it. And yes, a lot of that pull, a lot of that feeling of acceleration will come from the electric motor. So yeah, you'll definitely feel a lot of that torque right away in this car. So yes, let's go back to economy. All right, so powering the front wheels, putting the power down to the front wheels, is a direct hybrid transmission. So it's not a CVT, and it's definitely not a dual clutch transmission, unlike the one in the earlier Emkoo that we reviewed. Now this one has no gears to it. It's basically a direct drive. Now, while the dual clutch transmission in the regular Emkoo gave us the power, put the power down to the front wheels in the most efficient and in the most power-oriented manner, this case here, yeah, it's so much smoother than that one. I mean, it's definitely going to be a definite change in the vehicles. It doesn't feel like the same Emkoo. Now, the suspension might not be tuned for sportiness, unlike what the sport mode tries to imply, but it's firm. It's firm enough to be comfortable and not floaty or cloud-like. I mean, you're not going to be feeling dizzy inside the GAC Emkoo, and because of the additional weight from the battery and the electric motor, it does at least give it a lower center of gravity right here. So compared to the regular Emkoo, you would feel a difference. It feels heavier, but not sluggish, if you get what I mean. So one thing about the GAC Emkoo Hybrid though, the start-stop button is too close to the hazard button. I would often press on the start-stop button when we're at speed. And there was a time when I was actually filming this, where I wanted to click on the hazard button, and I clicked on the start-stop button, and the engine just killed itself. So keep that in mind. Make sure that make sure, of course, that you remember that the hazard button is right here on top, and the start-stop button is right here. It's lit, definitely lit right there. I wish they had the hazard button lit instead of the start-stop button. but that's just me, I guess. Fuel economy for the GAC Emkoo is just stellar. You've got about 17 kilometers per liter in the city. I just drove earlier in heavy city traffic, morning rush hour traffic, and I got 17 kilometers per liter. That's crazy. Now out on the highway, I wasn't able to get as, I was surprised that I wasn't able to get double that like in regular ICE cars. So on the highway I got 20 to 21 kilometers per liter, which is still amazing. But the reason why it doesn't get like double the city mileage or city fuel economy is because of how a hybrid engine works. So now the reason why it's more efficient technically in the city is because you're getting to use the battery for the electric motor, and once you're stopping it, you're using a regen here. You can actually charge up the battery and it goes. So basically you can run this purely on EV mode while on traffic, but while you're driving on the highway and you want to activate EV mode, you're gonna finish up all your charge in the battery for the EV mode, and then it's gonna have to spool up the engine and in order to charge it. So basically you're running on the engine power most of the time when you're accelerating hard on the highway. So that's the reason why it's not going to be as you'd expect it to be. So it's not going to give you 35 or 40 kilometers per liter, but 20, 21 kilometers per liter on the highway is absolutely not bad at all. Safety features of the GAC Emkoo Hybrid pretty much the same as the GAC Emkoo top of the line 1.5 turbo. So you get multiple airbags inside, you get ABS, electronic brake for distribution, hill start assist, you got traction control, stability control, and the like, as well as the advanced driver assist systems that we were talking about when we were outside. So you got a 360-degree camera system, you got forward collision warning, emergency braking, you got rear cross traffic alert, you've got a blind spot monitoring system, you got lane keep assist, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control. I know how much you guys love adaptive cruise control right there. You got headlamp levelers right here. Everything that you're looking for when it comes to advanced driver assist systems, you can find it right here. And one thing I love about the GAC Emkoo though is that you can actually deactivate that if you want to. I mean, there's some people who are actually more into who are kind of wary, especially about the emergency braking part. If you know what I mean, we actually call it ghost braking. So you don't actually have any obstacles on the road, but it does detect a certain obstacle if it notices a shadow or even just a small leaf right there. It's it's kind of jarring. So you can actually turn off the forward collision warning as well as the active brake assist. Pricing for the GAC Emkoo Hybrid starts at 1,698,000 pesos, making it effectively around 200,000 pesos more than the top of the line GAC Emkoo with the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. Now, factoring in fuel costs, it may take you a few years' time trying to recuperate that 200,000 pesos. But one advantage that the hybrid variant has over the turbocharged variant is, of course, the smoothness. The drive is certainly different. Acceleration is certainly quicker. And yes, apart from the fuel savings, it's a lot more comfortable. It's a lot smoother. The NVH levels right here on the GAC Emkoo Hybrid is pretty much like the turbo, but it's quieter because the engine is turned off when you're running at EV. Plus, of course, again, we're going back to the savings you get at the pump. And there you have it, boys and girls, car guys of all ages. That's our review of the 2025 GAC Emkoo Hybrid. Finally, an electrified variant of the GAC Emkoo has arrived, and it finally fits the exterior look of it because of the electrified performance. Now, thanks to that hybrid, it now has stellar fuel economy and an even smoother drive because of that direct hybrid transmission. You have to try this to believe it, and I want to see a lot more of this on the road so that we can put down the price of this. But hey, I want to know what you think. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below, and while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. This has been Roy Robinson, Zigwheels.Ph. I'll see you guys next time.